Ever wondered how a glacier, that massive river of ice, comes into existence? Let's imagine for a moment that a glacier is a newborn baby. Yes, a very, very chilly baby. Just like a baby, it all starts small, with a single snowflake. Over time, these snowflakes gather, creating a thick, fluffy layer of snow. This is the infancy stage of our glacier baby. Now, as more and more snowflakes join the party, they start to weigh heavy on the bottom layers. This pressure, combined with the cold temperatures, causes the snow to compact and form something we call firn. Firn is like the awkward teenage stage for our glacier. It's not quite the fluffy snow it once was, but it's not yet the dense ice we recognize as a glacier. It's somewhere in between. Now, as years pass, this firn continues to be squished by the weight of new snow until it morphs into dense blue ice. This is the moment our glacier baby finally reaches adulthood. It's now what we call glacial ice. But hang on a minute, you might be wondering, isn't all ice the same? Well, not exactly. You see, the ice in your freezer, or the ice you slip on during winter, is different from glacial ice. The pressure the snow undergoes to become a glacier squeezes out tiny air pockets, making the ice dense and blue. That's why glaciers often have that beautiful blue hue, and it's also why they're so much harder and colder than the ice you might find in your backyard. So, there you have it. The birth of a glacier, from a single snowflake to a colossal river of ice, is a process that takes many, many years. It's a remarkable journey, showing us the power of nature and the fascinating transformations it can create over time. So the next time you build a snowman, think about how that same snow could someday become part of a mighty glacier. Did you know that glaciers move? Yes, they do. These icy giants are quite the travelers. Now, let's embark on an exciting journey. The journey of a glacier. Picture this, a massive icy wonder slowly inching its way down a valley. That's right, we said inching. Glaciers are not in any rush. They're the original slowpokes of the natural world, moving at a pace that makes a snail look like a sprinter. You see, glaciers move under their own weight. They're like giant frozen rivers flowing down valleys and leaving a trail of transformation in their wake. Over time, these slow-moving ice bulldozers carve deep valleys and fjords into the landscape. Imagine a sculptor taking years, decades, or even centuries to create a masterpiece. That's what glaciers do. Now here's a fun term for you. A glacier's tongue. No, glaciers don't taste their surroundings like we do. The tongue of a glacier is the part that reaches furthest down the valley. It's like the leader of the pack, the first to explore new territories. And just like our tongues, it helps the glacier communicate. In this case, the message is water, as the tongue is often where melting occurs, feeding rivers and lakes. Of course, a glacier's journey is not all smooth sailing. There are bumps and cracks along the way. These cracks, or crevasses, can be hundreds of feet deep. But don't worry, glaciers are tough. They just keep on moving, however slowly, reshaping the world as they go. And here's a fun fact. Did you know that the term glacier comes from the French word glace, which means ice? It's a fitting name, don't you think? After all, these icy travelers are one of nature's most impressive spectacles. So, if you thought glaciers were just blocks of ice sitting around, think again. They're on a very slow, very chilly journey. Can you guess how old the oldest glacier is? Hint, it's older than your grandma, your great-grandma, and even your great-great-great-grandma. Now let's take a step back in time, way back, when mammoths roamed the earth and cave paintings were the latest trend in home decor. We're talking about the Ice Ages. Yes, you heard it right, ages, because there were more than one. The Ice Ages were periods in Earth's history when the planet's temperature dropped significantly, and a considerable portion of the Earth was covered in ice and snow. During these chilly times, glaciers came into existence. A glacier is essentially a slow-moving river of ice formed from compacted snow over many, many years. Some of these icy giants are so old they've seen tens of thousands of winters. Imagine, while humans were figuring out how to make fire and invent the wheel, these glaciers were already thousands of years old, silently moving and shaping the earth beneath them. Now, the oldest glacier known to us is the Antarctic ice sheet. This frosty behemoth has been around for about 34 million years. Yes, you heard me right, 34 million. That's a lot of birthday candles. This ancient ice sheet is massive. It's so big, in fact, that if it melted completely, global sea levels would rise by over 200 feet. That's taller than the Statue of Liberty. But let's not worry about that. Instead, let's marvel at the sheer endurance and longevity of these icy wonders. They've survived through countless seasons, weathered storms and heat waves, and yet, they remain, a testament to the power and persistence of Mother Nature herself. So the next time someone asks you about the oldest thing you know, you can say it's a glacier. Now get ready to meet some of the biggest, baddest glaciers on Earth. First up, we have the Lambart Glacier in Antarctica. This icy behemoth is the largest glacier on Earth, and it's not even close. Imagine if you took the entire state of Texas and froze it solid. That's about how big Lambart Glacier is. Now that's a lot of snow cones. Next we journey to Alaska, where we find the Hubbard Glacier. While it's not as large as the Lambart, the Hubbard Glacier is the longest tidewater glacier in North America. It's roughly the length of about 400 football fields. That's like running a touchdown from one end to the other, 400 times. Now let's take a trip to Europe, where we find the Aletsch Glacier in Switzerland. This is the largest glacier in the Alps, and it's about as long as 300 Eiffel Towers laid end to end. Just imagine how long it would take to climb all those stairs. Then there's the Siachen Glacier in the Karakoram range of the Himalayas. While not as large as the others, the Siachen is known as the highest battlefield in the world. It's about as high as 10 Mount Everests, stacked on top of each other. Now that's what I call a mountain of ice. And finally, let's not forget the southern Patagonian ice field in South America. This is the world's third largest reserve of fresh water. Imagine filling up about 1 billion Olympic-sized swimming pools. That's how much water is stored in this icy giant. So, whether it's the biggest, the longest, the tallest, or the wettest, every glacier is unique and has its own story to tell. They're not just big blocks of ice, but living, moving parts of our planet's ecosystem. And remember, even though they may seem cold and distant, glaciers are an important part of our world that we need to protect. So, there you have it, the world's biggest icy giants. Ready for some cool glacier facts and a fun quiz? Let's dive right into it then. Did you know that glaciers are the largest reservoir of fresh water on Earth? They hold a whopping 75% of the world's fresh water, which is more than rivers, lakes, and groundwater combined. Now isn't that something? And here's another frosty fact to blow your mind. Glaciers can move. Yes, you heard it right. While they may seem like solid, immovable blocks of ice, glaciers actually flow down mountains and valleys, albeit at a snail's pace. Some glaciers can move as fast as 50 feet per day. That's about as slow as watching paint dry. But in the world of glaciers, it's considered speedy. Now buckle up, because it's quiz time. I hope you've been paying attention because these questions are based on what we've discussed today. Question 1. What is the largest reservoir of fresh water on Earth? Is it A, rivers, B, lakes, C, groundwater, or D, glaciers? Question 2. Can glaciers move? If so, what's the fastest they can go? Alright, take a moment to think about your answers. No rush, we're not on glacier time here, and now, for the answers. If you said D, glaciers for the first question, then you're absolutely right. And for the second question, if you said yes, glaciers can move and the fastest they can go is about 50 feet per day, then give yourself a pat on the back. Well, isn't learning about glaciers a blast? It's like embarking on a thrilling icy adventure without having to bundle up in layers of warm clothing. Well, that's it for our icy adventure today. Remember, our world is full of wonderful things to learn about, and glaciers are just the tip of the iceberg.